Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm gonna make you a co-host.
Okay, great.
Are you feeling better, Lucy?
Yeah, feeling
Good.
better. Yeah.
Really clear. Sorry that you felt bad yesterday.
Mhm.
But if you need more time after this webinar, please feel free to take some sick time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And if we could definitely do the webinar too. No, you didn't need to be here today for the webinar if you felt really sick.
Hello.
Hi, Jackie.
Hey.
Gonna make you a co-host.
Okay, awesome.
This is easy, really quick.
Oh yeah, no problem. How are you two doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Do you need note taking or?
Oh yeah, good question. That would be great. Yeah. Because yeah, I think since I'm gonna have the slides up on my screen, so I won't really be able to take notes.
Okay, I can take notes.
Cool, thank you.
I'll start a new document.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, awesome. And I see that it's already recording, so that's good. I'll just test sharing my screen so you can. That's working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Try, do you want to try the presenter mode? Because we see the.
Oh, I was trying if it works or not.
Hi, Rom.
Hi, Rom.
That looks good, Jackie.
Awesome. Hey, Heidi.
Oh, I see some attendees coming in. I don't see.
Wow. Oh,
Okay.
I see Heidi.
Well, we have two attendees already.
Nice.
Which I don't know if they can hear us and view us right now, but if so, hello.
I assume there's a waiting room or something.
I don't see one.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Rom.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Seems like Zoom is working well. Are there any last minute tech things or questions we should do, Jackie?
Not that I can think of.
I don't see Heidi on the panelist list anymore, so maybe she got bumped off.
She's restarting.
Okay.
Mhm. Ram, do you have any questions for us? Or do you feel good?
I have no questions. Just wondering if I will finish in time or cover the time.
If you'd like any help with timekeeping, I'd be happy to chat you at how
Okay.
many chat works. Okay. Let's see. I'll send a chat now, Ram, to you, and then you can
Okay.
see what it'll look like.
Okay. So the guideline you sent to me, the introduction, how you find site location things, just simply I'm just talking myself, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a dialogue. It's like one person asking, another person explaining. So continuous, one person talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
And then we're going to have a question and answer session at the end. So
Yeah.
some of the attendees might have questions for you.
Okay. No problem.
Hey, Heidi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I was like, I don't know if my sound is working.
Oh, yes.
'Cause
Now
was
it
very
is.
quiet. Great.
Awesome. Glad you were able to connect.
Yes, me too.
It says your name is Lucy on my screen, Heidi.
Oh, 'cause I
Oh, that's
clicked Lindsay's link. All right, let me fix that. That's like that one other time that I joined and did wrong. Good catch.
For the notes, Jackie, I think I'm gonna make a copy of the script
That
and
sounds good.
then, yeah, just add anything that's different.
Yeah,
there. Okay.
great idea. Make less work for you.
Well, the script is so well done. Gotta take advantage. Hi, Marcel. Welcome. Thanks for confirming that you can see and hear us. Appreciate that.
Oh, yes, that's good.
Welcome, Linda. Hope you're doing well.
So it is 2 p.m., but might just give it one more minute to see if there's any more people who want to log on. Welcome, everyone. We're just giving it another minute for some more people to log on. All right. Well, I think I'll go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Ecology Center's webinar on adding EBT to your Farm Direct site. We're really excited that all of you are interested in making your sites more accessible to low shoppers of all income levels. My name's Jackie Van Loo, and I'm one of the Farmers Market Access and Equity Program Coordinators at the Ecology Center. And I've been helping out farmers markets and other Farm Direct sites with adding EBT for the past couple of years. So I'll just go over a few webinar protocols for today. So everyone is muted right now, but if you want to unmute yourself to ask a question, you can feel free to do that. Or you can use the chat to ask questions. The chat button should be located at the bottom of your Zoom panel. We'll pause after every section in case anyone wants to ask questions. And we'll have a longer question and answer session at the end. And the webinar is being recorded and we're taking notes. So we'll be sending out the recording and the notes after the webinar. All right, so our agenda for today, we are going to give you some information about us. We'll talk a bit about CalFresh EBT. We'll review the Food and Nutrition Service application and EBT point of sale devices. We'll go over marketing and education. And we're excited to have with us a guest presenter, Ram Katiwoda from the International Rescue Committee. He runs the New Roots Farm Stand in Sacramento. So he'll share a bit about his experience with their EBT program. And then we will share with you some other resources that we have for you, and we'll end with a question and answer session. So we would love to know what types of sites are in attendance today. So if you could take a moment to type into the chat box your name and the name of your organization or farm, what type of Farm Direct site you're adding EBT to. So I'll just wait a minute to see. Awesome. Oh, awesome. We even have someone from Oregon and Washington. Okay, CSAs, curbside pickup, produce boxes, mobile produce truck. Awesome. Great. Thank you all. Great to know who we have on the call today. All right, so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jenna to tell you a bit about us.
Sure. Thanks, Jackie. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for typing in where you're from and what you're up to in the chat. It's really interesting. I'm the program manager of the Farmers Market Access and Equity team at the Ecology Center. And the mission of the Ecology Center is to inspire and build sustainable, healthy, and just futures for the East Bay, California, and beyond. Our organization was founded in 1969, and our main topic areas today are addressing zero waste, sustainable living, food and farming, and climate action. And here on the Farmers Market Access and Equity team, we are committed to providing access to healthy food throughout California through EBT technical assistance, such as through this webinar today. And of course, anyone on this webinar will provide our contact information, and you're always welcome to follow up with us to talk about creating more access at your Farm Direct site. The Farmers Market Access and Equity team also works with Market Match, which is California's healthy incentive food program at farmers markets and Farm Direct sites. And also Farmers Market Finder, which is an online map that provides customers information about where to find farmers markets and which farmers markets accept SNAP EBT, offer Market Match, and other benefits. And the names of the team are listed here on this slide, but we'll all introduce ourselves to you as we speak today. And now I will pass it off to Heidi, who will provide an overview of CalFresh.
Hello, everyone. I'm Heidi Kleiner, and I am also a Farmers Market Access and Equity Coordinator here at the Ecology Center. And since you all made it to this call, you probably know a little bit about EBT already, but just an overview. There are a few names for the program that we're talking about. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, is the federal name for what used to be food stamps. And in California, we call it CalFresh. And the term that's probably most commonly used to refer to CalFresh is EBT. That's what we've seen customers use. And that stands for Electronic Benefits Transfer. And that refers to the card that is used for the benefits. And CalFresh, or SNAP, is a supplemental nutrition program for low-income individuals and families. And this year, there's also special pandemic EBT, or PEBT, that is for kids who usually receive the free and reduced school meals. There's also another version called disaster EBT for temporary disaster relief for people in certain federally declared emergencies like wildfires. And just like other social safety net programs like Social Security or Medicaid, CalFresh helps relieve financial burden on families and frees up money that they typically spend on food for their other needs. And in California, CalFresh provides 4.8 million Californians an average of $166 a month for food. And that money is loaded onto their EBT card. Like I said, they swipe the card like a debit card to purchase eligible foods. and approximately 4 million EBT dollars are spent at farmers markets and other farm direct sites in California each year. And why add EBT? It sends a powerful message that all people of all incomes are welcome. It opens up another source of income for your site or outlet. And now in particular is a good time to add it because millions more Californians are now receiving CalFresh or SNAP right now due to the pandemic. And with that, we also want to know a little bit more about what brought you to this webinar today. If you could type in the chat where you are in the process of adding EBT. Are you starting to research it? Have you already decided that you're adding it? Just trying to get more info, weighing the pros and cons, in the middle of the process already, if you have anything to share. And also feel free to type in the chat if you have any questions so far. That's great, Dana. You're already well on your way. So some people already have EBT, maybe at one of your sites or one of your programs, and you're looking to expand. And some questions about COVID. It's great seeing people in different stages of the process, but it seems like a lot of movement is happening and maybe picking up now after you figured out workarounds with COVID. So feel free to keep adding comments or if you have questions that come up in the chat, but I will pass it off to Lucy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lucy. I'm also a program coordinator at the Ecology Center. I'm going to just review the basics of the EBT application process, and then we'll get into detail on each step. And we're also here to follow up with questions after the webinar. So the first step is the Food and Nutrition Service application. It's an online application and it requires supporting documents. The second step would be getting your point of sale device. And if you're eligible, you can get one for free from the California Department of Social Services or the state. Then you'll want to train your staff on, make sure everybody knows how to accept the CalFresh cards and process it. And you'll want to update your marketing materials and outreach to the community to make sure everybody knows that you now accept CalFresh EBT by putting up signage and getting the word out. So the whole process usually takes around 2 months, and we'll talk more in detail about different time frames for the different steps. But I'll hand it off to Jackie to go through in detail.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucy. All right. So There are a few things to think about if you haven't started the process of adding EBT yet. So one question to ask is, do you have a staff person who's able to be physically present to swipe EBT cards? Unfortunately, right now, payment with EBT cards has to be taken in person. And it can be taken no more than 14 days before the customer receives their food. So this is something that CSAs probably need to think about, because the common model is to take payment for the full season at the beginning of the season. So you might need to shift your system for customers using EBT. And then another question to ask yourself is, are you eligible for a free EBT point of sale device, or will you have to pay for one? I'll go over point of sale devices in more detail a little bit later, but farmers and nonprofit organizations running CSAs and farm stands in California are eligible for free point of sale devices from the state, but mobile markets are not currently eligible. All right, so I'm going to start digging into the food and nutrition service application. And I'm going to give you a lot of information here, but you don't need to memorize it all, because we have all these tips written down on our website and in a guide that goes step by step through the application. We'll send out the link to this detailed guide in our follow-up email. And we do have this guide available in Spanish. It's a little bit outdated right now, but if you need access to the Spanish version, we can also send that to you. So just give us an email. So the application is online. They do have a paper application available that you can mail in, but I highly recommend filling out the online application, just because then you don't have to worry about the application getting lost in the mail, and you get an immediate receipt saying that your application was submitted. And another thing to note is that once you start the online application, you can save it and come back to it, but you just want to make sure that once you start it, you finish it and submit it within 30 days. Otherwise, it's going to get deleted automatically. And another note is that all farm directed outlets that are not farmers markets should complete the store application. So, once you enter the online application, it's going to ask you if you're a farmers market or store. If you're not a farmers market, complete the store application. And even before starting the application, you might want to start gathering some information about the business and authorized officials. FNS requires you to choose at least one authorized official. And this person is just going to be the person who's responsible for the EBT program at your business. So all outlets need a photocopy of the responsible official's photo ID, a copy of your business license if you have one. If you don't, that's okay. You'll need some sales data, employer identification number, social security number or ITIN, which stands for individual tax identification number, and a photocopy of your social security card or a W-2 form. Nonprofits, you'll also need the letter from the IRS about your tax exemption. And mobile markets, you'll need information about your delivery route, vehicle registration, mobile vendor license, and some more information. And if you have more questions about what that more information is, we can chat after the webinar. Okay, so, and I'll just pause real quick. Correct, Fallon. Yeah, so you need to complete a separate application for each business that you're accepting EBT for. So you'll need one FNS certification for your CSA and another for your farmer's market if you're running two different. And you do not need to submit your spouse's information anymore. They changed that rule in California. So you don't need to, you just need to submit the responsible official's information, not your spouse's. Okay. So, and the application is going to ask you what type of store you are. Farm, CSAs and farm stands. If you're operated by a farmer, then you can choose direct marketing farmer. If you're operated by a 501c3 nonprofit, then FNS categorizes you as a nonprofit food buying cooperative. In mobile markets, under any type of business ownership, you can select delivery route. And sometimes these categorizations can get a little confusing and muddy, so always feel free to reach out to us and ask, and we can figure it out with you. A food hub would be categorized, I assume, as if you're a nonprofit, as a nonprofit food buying cooperative. And if a nonprofit has multiple projects, do we only have one account? Yeah, I think maybe at the end we can talk more about that, Anna. Okay, so on the application, you'll also need to submit some information about your sales. If you've been operating for more than a year, you can list your actual sales from the past year. And that means sales just from, you know, the part of the business or the business that's going to be accepting EBT. And if you're a new outlet, you can just give your best estimate of what your sales will be in the next year. And in order to qualify to accept EBT, more than 50% of your sales must come from staple foods. And FNS defines staple foods as fruits and vegetables, grains, meats, and dairy. So most farm direct outlets, most of you are probably easily surpassing 50%, but you'll just want to make sure that you enter like 51% or more. You know, you can give your best estimate of the percentage. Some of you, it's probably going to be 100% staple foods. Once you submit your application, you're going to receive a temporary FNS number, and you'll want to keep that safe because you'll use it in the next step to get your point of sale device. This is another nice thing about submitting the application online instead of in the mail, because you receive your temporary FNS number right away. Then FNS they reserve up to 45 days to get back to you about approval. I think, you know, usually they don't take the full 45 days, but it's good to just reserve that time just in case. And so they'll either notify you that you were approved, or sometimes they're missing a piece of information. So they're going to let you know, like, we're missing a copy of your photo ID, so please send that to us as soon as you can. And you're going to want to respond to them as soon as you can, just to keep your application process going. Once you receive authorization, it is good for 5 years. And FNS will send you a letter right before 5 years letting you know that your reauthorization is due. So as I said, we have a step-by-step guide on the FNS application that you can use. We'll send that link out, and you can always feel free to reach out to us, give us an email or call anytime with questions, and I can walk you through the application. All right, so I think I'm gonna pause for any other questions right now. Make sure I have answered the other questions. Okay, not seeing any other questions popping up, so I'll keep moving. Oh, okay, good question. Is it possible to accept EBT online? So right now, FNS is allowing some retailers to accept EBT online. I think they're still kind of in like a pilot process. Unfortunately, it's kind of difficult to get authorized to do that. I think right now only like Walmart and maybe Amazon are able to accept EBT online. So it might be a little while until smaller retailers are able to do so. So right now it can only be accepted in person. Oh, and Anna says that local food marketplace might have a relatively short timeline of being able to accept EBT online. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing, Anna. All right, I'll want to talk to you more about that. All right. Okay, and I think I'm gonna save Michelle's question maybe for the end, and maybe some other outlets can talk to accepting SNAP payments or SNAP orders online. Okay, so point of sale options. In California, the state has a really great program where CSAs and farm stands are eligible, and certified farmers markets are eligible for a free EBT point of sale device. So that means that the state pays all of the fees associated with the machine as long as you use it. So that's completely free as long as you're accepting EBT payments. Sadly, mobile markets are not eligible right now. And this device is wireless and it runs on cell service. If you're not eligible for the free device, but you already have another point of sale system, then you might consider contacting your current point of sale provider to ask if you could add on EBT. And if you don't have a point of sale system, or if your current provider doesn't offer EBT, then these are some other providers that we know of: FIS, Clover, and Total Merchant Services. And some of you also might know of other providers that you like. This is, not an exhaustive list, just a few that we've heard of from partners. And the fees for these services can be pretty expensive. So if you are eligible for the free device, we highly recommend using that one. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, and some other states also have the free device program. So that's something to check in with, probably with your local social service or your state social service agency. Let's see. Oh, another thing to think about is sometimes the devices do lose service. So you'll want to also have the paper vouchers on hand so you can manually record EBT transactions and call them in for processing. So once you submit your FNS application, you can start the process of obtaining a point of sale device. You don't have to wait to hear back from FNS about approval. And that'll just speed up the process. And here is the contact information for CDSS for the free device program. I believe it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to receive that device once you contact Diane. All right, and I am going to now pass it back off to Heidi.
Thanks, Jackie. So you definitely want to make sure that staff, other vendors, volunteers, and customers know what products can be purchased with EBT. And the general rule of thumb is that it's any food items that are not hot prepared foods. So that includes fruits, vegetables, breads, cereals, meat, dairy. And then also not as many people know that you can also use it for seeds or plant starts for edible plants or for growing food at home. So if your outlet also sells those, you can use EBT for that. And EBT customers should, of course, receive the same level of treatment and service as other customers. And you cannot charge EBT customers any service or delivery fees, at least not onto their card. So with that, I will pass it back to Lucy.
Hi, okay, so you want to market to your community and spread the word that you've added EBT. We highly recommend that you include the phrase "we welcome EBT" or "we welcome CalFresh" on all your printed advertisements if you have flyers or posters. We also recommend that you reach out to local organizations, including local social service agencies, food banks, schools, churches, any kind of local community-based organization, letting them know that you accept EBT to get the word out, because often we know word of mouth can be a big marketing tool. And here we see the CalFresh card. It's great to include the visual of that CalFresh card on your printed materials or digital marketing, because it's so recognizable. And then for online, same thing, definitely want to include it, and also to include the message that you accept EBT, even when your headline of your social media post isn't necessarily about that you now accept it. So here's an example, it's from a farmer's market setting post. So it's not exactly a CSA or farm stand post, but they're kind of, the headline is about featuring heirloom tomatoes. And then at the bottom, they say, ask us about EBT cards. It references Market Match, but it's nice. The point is just to add it at the end of each post so people don't have to click into the about sections of your social media page to kind of dig to find if you accept EBT. Here's other examples of how people integrate that messaging on their websites in multiple ways. You might want to put the CalFresh logo, or if you also accept WIC, any program that you accept, multiple places on your website in text format and also visual. And on site, you'll definitely want to, make it really visible on site when people are coming up to your farm stand or your CSA pickup. At the very left is a big banner that's actually used in San Luis Obispo at their farmers market. So I thought it was really good, especially for a roadside stand, for people to see as they're driving by. They don't have to stop to find that out. Another thing we also recommend, and this is for all your customers, not just customers using CalFresh, would be making it easy for customers to figure out how much a small quantity of fruits or vegetables will cost when you're listing the price per pound. So, people who are more used to purchasing foods in grocery stores that are prepackaged might not be able to immediately sum up how much they want to buy of each thing. So giving examples of that, especially in a no-touch kind of setting, if you're operating in a no-touch kind of style during the pandemic, definitely good recommendation, and just for all kind of customers. Then we also recommend you kind of think about your operations, and this kind of speaks to a question that came up on the chat. Having an online ordering system. If you have an online ordering system for your CSA or farm stand, make sure to think about how someone who's using EBT would place an order. So yeah, there is not currently a way for independent vendors to accept CalFresh payments online as Walmart and Amazon are able to. So you'll have to allow those customers to place an order without entering in their payment information, and instead direct them that they would have to swipe their EBT card at the day of pickup, or have their authorized representative, if they're not able to come in person, someone who's authorized on their account to be able to come in person and swipe their card. Or you might also want to think through, if a customer wants to pay for part of their order using cash or credit card and part using EBT, how that would work in your ordering system. So you'll have to kind of make sure that your system is able to do that. And we have had people custom build websites for that, and hopefully there will be more options available, like out of the box style options. And you can accept, like we mentioned earlier, EBT up to 14 days before the food is delivered, but because the in-person swiping is still required, that's still part of it. So that might not be, it could be useful to know that, but it doesn't take away the in-person requirement. So you'll want to just make sure all that's clearly communicated. And we also think, the CSA model, how it's usually developed, is kind of geared towards a high income audience or a customer base paying upfront more as an investment to your farm. And so if you have a CSA model, you might want to consider really adding on different payment options that are specifically open up your customer base to lower income customers. So you might want to consider the fact that shoppers may not be able to commit to paying every week for the entire season, but might be able to commit paying 1 or 2 weeks a month, or pay like on a week-to-week basis. So it might be more administratively burdensome, but will definitely open up accessibility to low-income customers. And finally, understandable terms. So CSA may not be a term that's understood or commonly understood by lots of people. So you might want to, use multiple terminologies, like maybe a veggie subscription or veggie box subscription, or a term that you find is working for your community. So now I'll pass it off to our guest presenter, Ram, and to share his experience managing the New Roots Farm Stand.
Hi, everybody. This is Ram Katioda. I am a farm coordinator here at New Root Sacramento New Root program. Are you hearing me good? Alrighty. So I manages a farm and farmer market. There are one farm stand and one neighborhood pop-up stand. And I work for International Rescue Committee, IRC. International Rescue Committee was founded at request of Sir Albert Einstein, 1933, at request of to save Jews during this crazy time. And then it started morphing, evolve, and it is a global non-profit organization currently serving 40 countries worldwide and 22 US cities. It's a non-political, it's non-profit, non-bipartisan company helping people in a humanitarian ground for any kind of persecution, natural calamities, and human trafficking, things like that. In the US, we are purely a resettlement agency. And again, we are very limited. Federal government and state government, they will decide based on their biography that who can resettle in America. And based on that, IRC will get notification and they will go get the people from the airport and provide basic need for up to 90 days housing and job and all those things. And then they will be off after 90 days. But what happened after that was we find out that people has a hard time finding their culturally appropriate food. Somebody has to go east, get one thing, and has to go west another thing, and maybe sometimes they never get their intended produce. So people start coming and talking to IRC, and they say that we are being farmer for all of our life. We have language barrier, we have a transportation barrier. We need a healthy food access. Where can we buy food? Can we have a garden so that we can, our elderly people can come out of room and grow food? And that all brings together an idea of operating land access and nutrition education program. And IRC sought for a grant, and then yay, we got the land here in Sacramento since 2015, and I was a helper, translator, and interpreter in the program, and I was able to get a job there. I had a pretty good job at the other side, but I get a job with IRC, and now I am leading farmer training and managing gardens. That's what is going on here. So New Root is helping people access land, food security, nutrition education. We partnership with a school, food bank, church, and some other organization like agencies around, those who help other refugee and other immigration population here in the area. But we also provide land access for other non-refugee population in the area too. So we have a farm, 5-acre farm in West Sacramento. About 2 acre, we have a 12 farmer, they grow food, and we help them to sell food. They grow themselves. We provide some technical assistance, and we started a farm stand in there since 2017, and we did not have a food stamp at the time or EBT at the time. So my previous manager was able to sign in, and yes, we get the free device, and that helped us to double our sales, maybe triple our sales on EBT. Not only because of the EBT right there in the food stamp, we also expanded another neighborhood pop-up stand in a local community area. And how we decide that site. So we resettle people in different agencies, different location, and um, we look around and we try to find out which is the good place where people are living and who has a low income, big 500 unit apartment complex, or where is the park, and how can we better serve the people, not to make money, but to serve, because IRC nonprofit, and we want to provide support and access to healthy food for the community. So at one time, ecology center, actually they help us to survey, and they find food desert areas, and we get a map, and we talked to park and recreation, and they were happy actually to provide us a land. Actually, you see in the picture there, it is a park, pergola there. So a lot of people in the community, they come there at the evening time, and they have, this is before market started, we just set it up, and they come there, and the children's play in the ground, parent comes, they have choice, and they buy the food they deserve. Some of the culturally appropriate food, or like specific food. For example, people from Afghanistan, they like chives. They call gandana. So nobody grows around there. So they fight for it there. So it is fun to see people shop. Another way, securing healthy food with the benefit card by the mothers. Sometimes the people have their man as a main person, and they do all the shopping, but bringing the market near to them has the women and children to come and access healthy food and buy whatever they choose to buy. So that's where we have one market. Previous than that, we also work with a school, and we have a community garden in the school, and the school help us um, uh, to get a place for setting a stand there. So we also sell in a school. But because of COVID condition, we stopped selling there, and we moved to this location. We do have some kind of language barrier, all kind of different language speakers all around the world. They comes to our market, and so you see in the sign. So we learned some basic words, learning and asking work for us and for everyone actually. Always learn a few words. I like to encourage everyone to, learn a one or two word from the community whom you serve, and you see they smile them, oh, you're learning my language. The ripple of smile comes through that helps them to support and encourage them to visit your site one way, other way, securing their healthy food. We write the signs like the very simple, in a couple of language. We also print some flyers, and we also use some community representative sometime to help manage. It really helped us during the time of COVID, that every people was not socially distancing, and we call one of the elder, and we help them, we get their help to explain, and that helps in terms of a language barrier. In our place, people seems like they understand what EBT. EBT is 10 years ago, food stamp was popular. Right now, maybe CalFresh is the name given, and if people understand, but it is always use alternative words. When you say EBT, they might be surprising. Then you might say food stamp or food card or CalFresh. We call CalFresh, but depend on your state where it is. try to learn, few vocabulary around, and you can easily communicate with peoples. To make sales easier, what we practice here, we always make bunches, and then we will write per pound or per bunches, and we always keep standard bunches so that there is no surprises for customers. Hey, you gave me a big bunch last week, and today you change, so always keep your standardized bunches package, and so that there will be no surprises for them. So we use flyers, symbols. We use the one of the images shows that our EBT symbol there, the banner, that actually makes visible. If you have a colorful arrangement or big board at the side of the stand, people go around, they will see and they will communicate. We saw that children's in the park running, and they're saying they're coming and quickly looking with a curious face, and they just run, and then they come back with their parent and with the finger pointing. So having sign and like a EBT, big EBT card sign that is very recognizable for the people, that children saw their parent having that card, and oh, good, that'll help them to communicate. And sometimes if the parent has a limited language, children can help them to understand. They explain things. We do, as I mentioned, we do work with collaboration with other agencies. We are working with a couple of school districts in our area, and we also, when we are meeting, we say that we have EBT sales, we have a farm stand, we open every Saturday, 11 to 2. So every time you communicate, the verbally, the community people, they will communicate with others. Sometimes they send pictures of farm stand or your market into their social media, and then you will end up getting a lot of people lining up for the produce. So that is really good. And I think EBT has an advantage because it is not only for the business people or people to make money, it is for them to secure healthy food that you are harvesting today or yesterday evening. It's not coming from just not coming from across the sea, or there is a big carbon footprint on the way. So that will be a good community service in the living in a community, and as a producer that we can help them to secure healthy food. Maybe we're helping them to less bill on their pills in future. So that's a good part, and thankfully the federal government has a budget for it, and they provide this cost for farmers, no, the consumers and low-income people to secure healthy food. How much time we spent, and do you think that you're gonna need to sort for handling EBT? It really depends. If you have a big market, you do a lot of transaction, it might take a lot of time. For IRC, for me, it's a 10-20 minute. Just thinking of basic things that is sometimes very stupid. One time, I run out my EBT receipt roll. So I need to call ask my coworker to rush to the market. Thankfully, it happened in a 10 minutes, they come back. So charging your EBT device, having extra battery, carrying some more receipts, and that will help you to save a lot of trouble. And also having that voucher helps when the device malfunction. That helps. Another tip was that we faced was every time you go to your sales station, you go and turn off your machine there, turn on or off right there. Don't turn off in your home or in a farm state, and when you travel to market and try to swipe the card, sometimes transaction fail because EBT connect to the nearby tower that internet service is provided to that device. Also, if you are also having a market match that we are already explained by Jackie and others, that if you are applying or have a market match, if you're also selling on an incentive EBT, then there will be more responsibility on you, that the report need to be made, the receipt need to be scanned, all these data collection, that is more on EBT sales. But that is one thing. But if you're simply selling EBT by EBT device without it is pretty easy, and is easy to go and not much time need for you. I think that's all, and I am kind of guy who like to talk, answering the questions rather than keep on speaking. If you have any questions from Ecology Center or from one of our listeners, please let me know. So I will be glad to answer if I can, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ram.
Yeah.
So much useful information and great experience that you have. All right. So before we wrap up with Q&A, I just want to let you all know that we have further resources that you can explore. We have our website, the EBT Simple Guide. It's ecologycenter.org/EBT. And it's geared a bit more towards farmers markets, but we do have a lot of useful information still for other farm direct outlets. And we also have our FNS application guide for farm direct outlets. And you can also reach out to us anytime with questions. All right, so we have a few minutes left if anyone wants to ask questions. Okay, let's see. So I'll answer the easier question first. It is possible to have two point of sale card readers at one farmer's market or outlet, but I'm pretty sure CDSS will only provide you with one free one per outlet.
Oh.
And then so let's see, Dana has a question about farmers markets. Yeah, there are a few different ways I think that markets reimburse their vendors for EBT tokens. So that could be, let's see, like you collect their EBT tokens at the end of the market and you immediately pay them in cash or in a check, or you collect their tokens and record that and you pay them the next week or within a week. Let me know if that doesn't answer your question. Sometimes markets will also like subtract the stall fee from the tokens that they reimburse.
I've got a couple questions from previous in the chat
Oh, awesome. Thank
that
you.
I can ask.
Okay.
And I have the answer to the first one. Do you have info on Market Match? We will have a Market Match request for applications coming out this spring. And the best way to stay up to date on that is to sign up for the Market Match newsletter, which is on marketmatch.org. Another question, Jackie, was about a CSA and that the full price includes processing and delivering fees. So would EBT members be charged less?
Yeah, so yeah, you would want to adjust your pricing for customers paying with EBT to subtract those delivery fees. Yeah, and something that I asked our contacts at FNS, you might be allowed to charge the delivery fee on their debit or credit card, but I'm actually not sure, so I can get back to you on that.
Great. I've got a couple more here.
Okay.
Ram, this I think you would answer. The question was about COVID-19 safety with accepting payments. Do you have any insight you can share on how y'all keep the purchase safe during this pandemic that we're in?
Yes. So what we did, we have people, actually customers are not really following this, and we have a hard time. We thought aloud about it. So what we did, we gave a number to the customer who come to the farm stand. They will have number 1, 2, 3, whatever number, and they will back up. And we call the people, whoever come with the number first will come and select the produce in a bag with the gloves. And on the table, we have a hand sanitizer. This is mandatory. Okay, they will come, they will collect the produce what they want. They come to the line, to the payment point, and then they will pay there. So we will let in our set of farmer market, farm stand, or the sales in the park. We allow 4 people, 5 people at one time, so that the 5 people will come to the payment line. They were there maintaining social distance. Then other 5 will come and pick it up. That's how we did ourselves COVID friendly.
That's great advice. Just like at the grocery store, the fish or the deli counter. That's great. I know we're a few minutes over. I think we can keep answering these questions and understand if anyone has to leave, we'll be recording. One question back in the chat was about systems used for accepting SNAP orders online, but then having payment happen on site. If anyone had any systems on that. Would love to know if anyone on this call has any advice for that. Ecology Center also has a webinar on box programs and how some farmers markets have managed that process for in-person payment. So I'd be happy to provide that, and we can put that as a resource in the webinar follow-up.
I attended training actually yesterday about online sales platform organized by Fresno Small Farm UCANR. I think one can go into their website and check it up. They have online sales like Airtable, Food for All, Local Line. Those are the platforms they recommend farmers to use. and there they can order online orders, but come at the farm stand or pickup station and they pay that. And that's what I was listening yesterday, but I don't have direct experience.
Do you know where people can find that info? Is it on their website?
Yes, in their website. It was just done yesterday, so I think they've uploaded everything. They directed their website, directed us to go to their website. So if not today, tomorrow definitely they will have it. Or farmers can also learn going into internet, local line, air table, and food number 4 ALL all. So those are the online sales getting, I think, popular these days because of COVID thing. And you can learn there. There are fees, some are free, but those are, I think, those are a good option for us during this crazy time.
Very cool. Maybe we can also send out those links in our follow-up email.
One thing about EBT I also like to mention is when you have a EBT device and you sales and you miss receipt or you forget something and you don't know how much it is sold, there is actually we were provided a website. You can actually sign in there and then you can see all the transactions, total sales. I think it's called aids.com something that was really helpful for us.
Mhm. Yeah, EBT Edge.
EBT Edge.
Mhm. Awesome. Thanks for mentioning that. Any other questions, Jenna?
That is all that I have.
Okay.
I didn't miss any.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay, and Tap for Markets also is a mobile and digital ordering system that allows customers to order and then pay in person. Very cool. Great. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap up. I don't see any other burning questions in the chat. So thank you all so much for attending today, and yeah, and again, for your interest in making your sites more accessible to people of all income levels. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us after the webinar. We're always here to answer questions and give assistance. So I hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. And thank you again, Ram.
Alrighty, have a good evening.
All right, take care, Ram.
Okay, bye now.
Oh, Jenna, also, I'm curious, does the chat automatically save? Do you know?
I think it does. Yes.
Okay, cool. Just so we have those questions still.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I tried to catch them, but my note taking was not as good as.
Oh, no worries. I'm sure it was great.
Okay. Well, have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.